Welcome everyone who just watched Loyola Chicago cut down the nets as Missouri Valley Conference champions. I'm Sherry Burris. Let's show you how they did it. This game over on CBS, the MVC final arch madness between Drake and Loyola Chicago. Two bubble teams, winner clinching an auto bid to the NCAA tournament. The Bulldogs started off slow but heated up. Middle of the second half, DJ Wilkins knocks down the three-pointer. With this, Drake is down just 3. Next possession, Joseph Yesufu hits the 3, and that ties the game at 24. But the Ramblers, they pulled away. Ensuing possession, Cameron Krutwig knocks down the jumper. That puts the Ramblers up 2. In next possession, Krutwig, this time to Tate Hall, able to drain the tray. Ramblers now up 5. And ensuing Drake possession, ball's turned over. Krutwig there finds Marquise Kennedy for the slam. Ramblers led by 5 at the break. And Drake, they had 7 turnovers in the first half. They had 2 turnovers in the semifinals. And the Ramblers kept it up. Lucas Williamson knocks down the 3. Then the ensuing Drake possession, DJ Wilkins drives, pulls up, hits front iron, that loose ball gathered by Hall. Keith Clements lays it in. On the other end, and this puts Loyola Chicago up by 11. So middle second half, Krutwig leaving it for Clemens, drills the triple. Loyola up 16. They punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament, earning their second MVC title in program history. The final 75-65. Loyola Chicago minus 8.5 the spread. They covered on free throws with just 15 seconds left in the game. The over 125 hit. And you see Cameron Krutwig there with a great outing. He was named tournament MVP. And here you have it, the first MVC tournament championship since 2018 for Loyola Chicago. They made the 2018 Final Four that season as an 11 seed, but before that, Loyola had not made the tournament since 1985. Gary Parrish and Nat Norlander, the hosts of Eye on College Basketball podcast, here with us. Guys, as I said, tournament MVP was Cameron Krutwig. And after the game, he said their mission was to, quote, torch the nets. They did just that, cutting them down after a stellar performance at the conference tournament, taking home that title. What did you like about the way they played their GP?
Oh, listen, they were terrific. When you're the #1 team in the country when it comes to adjusted defensive efficiency, we know you can guard. We knew that Drake was going to have a hard time scoring, probably wouldn't touch 70, and Drake, was stopped at 65. But to shoot the way that they shot the ball and be that efficient offensively was somewhat surprising. I mean, we're talking about 59% from the field, 58% from three-point range. Simply put, Drake, especially without 2 of its top 3 players because of injuries, just was not going to win a game in which Loyola Chicago shot nearly 60% from the field and nearly 60% from three-point range. The fact that Drake was in it for much of the game, given those shooting percentages for Loyola Chicago, honestly was a bit surprising.
Matt, what about you? What did you like about their performance? And what do you say is their ceiling come the NCAA tournament?
Well, I come with some devastating news. We've reached the point here where dudes named Braden are dropping buckets in March games that matter. Braden Norris shouts to you, 20 points, goes along with Cameron Krutwig's 20 points. That was a really nice performance by Loyola Chicago. Withstood a couple of nice rallies from Drake in the second half. Clearly a big-time deal. I remember talking to Porter Moser during the middle of this season, and he told me at that point that this group was better than the group that made the 2018 Final Four, and that was something of an audacious claim at that point in the season, to be honest, but he was right. These coaches do know their teams, and look where they are now. I think where they're going to be seated is going to be very interesting. I can't honestly give you a projection that I will feel comfortable with. I think 11 is the floor, and maybe 7 is the ceiling. Nobody truly knows, because as we talked about in pregame, their metrics are kind of all over the place. The predictive metrics, love them. This is a top 10 team in KenPom, and it's just amazing. Now, the results-based metrics don't have Loyola there. They have them closer in alignment with what Jerry Palm had them coming into the day as a 12 seed. So I will be fascinated to see where they land. As for their ceiling, Sherry, you know, it's the team, the coaches say this is better than the Final Four team. So if this is a better, more talented team than made the Final Four in 2018, then it goes to reason that the Final Four should be their ceiling. But you have to consider the region they'll be placed in, how good the quality of one seeds there are this season. So I'll couch it by saying it is a reasonable expectation for this team to make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. That should be regarded as its ceiling. And I would be surprised, I would genuinely be surprised, no matter who it faces on Selection Sunday, if Loyola Chicago is a one-and-done team. So well-rounded, great defensive group, and we saw what it's capable of on the offensive end. Shouts to Braden.
Shouts to Braden, and it's definitely a team we'll be keeping our eyes on as we hit Selection Sunday and moving forward. But we did mention both these teams were on the bubble entering Sunday. Drake, a part of Jerry Palm's last four in. GP, following this loss, do you still see a path for Drake to make the big dance?
Yeah, I do, and the argument would be rooted in this. They're still, after this loss, they're 6-2 in the first two quadrants with 2 quadrant 3 losses. That might not sound great, but it is positive relative to other bubble teams. And only 1 quadrant 1 win is problematic. The 2 Q3 losses is an issue, but ultimately, you know, when you're talking about a team that in theory should be getting its best player back in time for the NCAA tournament, and a team that is 4 games above 500 in the first 2 quadrants, I think that is a worthy NCAA tournament team. If I were putting together a bracket at this moment, I would have Drake in it. The problem, of course, is that the bracket will not be made today. It'll be made next Sunday, and we do not know where bid stealers might emerge. So if you're a Drake fan, just know I'm on your side. But you don't want this bubble shrinking on you, so you better root for Houston to win the American Athletic Conference tournament, and you better root for, you know, San Diego State to win the Mountain West Conference tournament. Drake is the type of team that could get pushed out of the bracket by bid stealers. They need things to go the way they're supposed to go. And so far, by the way, in these conference tournaments, they're not really going the way they were supposed to go.
Yeah, this is going to be just an agonizing 7-day wait. Parrish and I are in agreement. We will talk about this more. I got to figure on the Sunday night edition of the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Drake's kind of got to be in the field right now. Now, one important thing to remember, we had on the graphic there 25-4. They're actually 23-4. 2 of those wins were against non-Division I teams. So when the committee looks at Drake's overall profile, it will show 23-4 because your non-D1 games don't count toward your inventory there. You know what Drake should really be pounding the table on for the next 7 days? It's road victories. It has 9. There's one other team in college basketball that's going to make the NCAA tournament that has that many. Illinois, a 1 seed. Drake was undefeated in non-conference play. It won 3 games away from home, including beating a power conference team, Kansas State, by double digits on the road. It has done well for itself, and it gets its best player back, at least it's expected to. Darren DeVries was hopeful that Tank Hemphill would be able to play in the Missouri Valley tournament. He was not able to. The NCAA tournament's first round will start, 12 days from now. He's expected to return. That will also be a talking point for the committee there. I would have Drake in the field now, and I think they've got a good shot, but they absolutely, they need Michigan State to lose to Michigan, and they need Michigan State to not play well in the Big Ten tournament, and they can't have Indiana come out of nowhere and win the Big Ten tournament, in addition to the examples like Parrish gave you. To me, this is the quintessential, nobody truly knows what's going to happen with them on Selection Sunday till we see the bracket. It's a long 7-day wait for Drake.
Long 7-day wait, but we can't wait. Matt and Gary, we appreciate the time and the insight. Thank you, guys. And make sure you get more from Matt and Gary and the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Download and subscribe today. They give you all you need to know, the storylines, the news. You heard Matt there teasing a little bit. There will be a new edition of the Eye on College Basketball that they're working on tonight. So make sure you download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.